What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I just got over here to the shop, B&K Performance. We're working on this hot rod today, trying to get ready for dig or die coming up in 2 weeks. So hopefully today I'm gonna be able to get a lot accomplished. I got to do something that I was hoping I wasn't gonna have to do it till the end of the season, but it's just getting a little bit worse. The transmission front pump seal is leaking where the torque converter goes in. So we need to take that thing out and change it. So that's gonna be a pain in the butt. Let me show you what else we got going on today. I talked about the weight bar. There was a couple good ideas. I had a couple people suggest, so stick this thing in here, secure it, and then tube it. Get another piece of this bigger tube, and then from here, let that slide in. And so then basically what would happen is I would still have the parachute. The parachute would be out a little further, of course, like maybe like right here. And then in that distance from the back, I could have my my weight bar. I could go straight up off of this joint here, just straight up off of this with my 1-inch tube, and then stack the 25-pound weights right there. That's actually a really good idea. And then that way I still don't lose my function of the parachute. So I mean, I've got plenty of room. The parachute line can be all the way back here, so plenty of room to do that. So we may do that. The other thing I'm gonna do today is change the front springs. I've got a longer spring that's a little bit lighter than the other ones that I had on it. So what I'm gonna do there is make it, hopefully, so I talked about it in one of the other videos, the stored energy, just trying to make it so that it'll be able to fling the car up a little harder. These revalve front struts are a little tight. Well, let's crank this thing up real fast, move it in the shop, pull the transmission out. Not looking forward to pulling the transmission out. The other thing I got too, I went ahead, a lot of suggestions. When this car takes off, you know, it kind of, the back end kind of squats down. It looks like it moves to the side a little bit. We did move the lower control arms inboard just a little bit, so we lost some of the triangulation in the rear end. So I'm gonna put a diagonal bar on it, and that diagonal bar hopefully will keep the rear end completely centered. The new car, I'm gonna put a wishbone on it, but this car is gonna get a diagonal link. It was a little bit cheaper, and you know, the diagonal link should do the exact same thing. All right, let's move it in. So it is really cold. It's like 40 degrees out here. I did brake clean it, so hopefully it'll crank up fairly easy. My little dump valve system that I got, and it just goes, it just tees in line off of the cooler circuit here, and it just is a little fuel solenoid valve, and it just goes back to the pan. And you can see up in there, that is where it's leaking. It's leaking up there at the torque converter seal. You can see it's just gotten gradually worse. While we got it down, we're gonna go ahead and do the extension housing seal also, because it's got a little bit of fluid as well. And yes, this is out of a NASCAR that was on it, pit practice car slider. So I guess I paid like $100 for this shaft, this NASCAR shaft. It was on a car that was sliding. I don't know which car it came off of. I thought it used to have a number on it. That's interesting. You can see my rear wheels, my rear control arms that I did here. I had to extend those out. Now, this car has been together a long time. It has won a lot of money though. So it's, you know, it's not terrible. I mean, it's backyard stuff. These nice QA1 shocks on the back, the double adjustables. I mean, it's not terrible, not a terrible deal. I did see a little bit of spark out of this side when we were at Darlington, so I'm gonna pull these back wheels off too. I'm gonna put the diagonal, it's gonna go from over here, from this rear end, diagonal across over here to the body, just so that it can hopefully keep the rear end square, which it looks, I mean, it is still triangulated, but it doesn't have as much movement, as much angle as it used to have. All right, here we go. Well, that was a bust. I destroyed the seal here going in there. So Anthony is gone to get us another seal real fast. But in the meantime, I did get my new wastegate. So this one is stuck in the open position. So I got a VS Racing one this time. It appears it's gonna bolt right on. But it may not. Let me see that one, is it stuck? It should be stuck. Oh yeah. What is sticking it? Why is it stuck? It is like stuck. That is the problem. What in the world is it stuck on? All right, let's go take this thing apart and see why it's stuck. Here, John. See if you can, here, hold that camera. Please, son. Let's see if we can pop it down. No, it is stuck. How's it stuck? It must be, I wonder if we pinched the diaphragm, will we? Remember how close it was? Yep. Okay, well, we gotta take it apart anyway. Let's get, oh, there it goes. It come unstuck. Well, what did it stick on there? Oh, something's loose in there. That piece in there still is loose, ain't it?
Yep.
You hear it?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta take it off and get the spring anyway. This is an unboxing. It looks to be like a pretty good wastegate. I guess it's fake unboxing because I've already unboxed it once. It appears to be similar. See, it's got the great big, it's just rebranded with a different top is all it is. This is the Rev 9, which I've had a few problems out of that one. That's all. This is exactly the same with a different top. Well, yes, a little different, but it is a 60 millimeter as well. The only thing I'm gonna have to do though, I'm gonna have to drill and tap this for my CO2, my dome pressure sensor. So other than that though, I mean, this looks like a nice wastegate. Right now it has about 45 pounds worth of spring in it. So we got to take these springs out and put this spring over here in it. All right, let's do that real fast. Ta-da! So what had happened was, this thing started off as a black wastegate. And I drilled, it only had one fitting. It only had one spot for a fitting up top here. So this one, of course, goes to the compressor discharge just below. And so I decided I was gonna put it in the side like my other one was. And so when I did, I put it in the side, and when I tapped it, the piston was hitting it. So that didn't work. So I had to weld that up. I'm not a very good TIG welder, but I was able to weld a hole. So I got that welded up, and I put it up here to the side. And as I welded it, it turned it the color of my car. I actually like this color. So now we have a functioning wastegate again. We have my very soft spring in it. The only bad thing is the fire ring and this mechanism is just a little bit different. This is what welds onto the pipe. So we're fixing Brian's gonna go out there and cut that one off, and then we're gonna weld this flange on, and then we'll set. So this one, and the other thing, look at this. This is why this thing was binding. Look at this. That is actually shaft play. This is one of those, the Rev 9. Now this thing's pretty old, so I guess it's just wore out. But look at that. I mean, that's what bound up. It got it all in a bind, and that's why it was sticking. But that thing is very, very, very loose. So we're gonna put the new one on here, stick it on, and then we'll be done. Transmission's back in. They stuck it back in while I've been fiddling with this thing. And so we'll be ready to go put the springs on in a minute. All right, so we are good to go. Wastegate is now on. Matches the color of the car. It's a little lower than the other one. See how it just kind of hangs. No, it's above. So I mean, it's fine. But it is what it is. I like the color though. If it does a great big wheelie, then I mean that'll look pretty cool. All right, so that's done. So now let's change the front springs real fast. It's funny. Okay guys, so we are under here. We have the track bar installed. Hopefully that is correct. This is on the passenger side, and that's on the driver's side. Now, this bar was exceptionally long, and you see it's got a good diagonal to it, but it was not able to go all the way over to the other side for the simple fact that, you know, this track bar is designed for a rear end that is narrowed, where the 4-link bars are here and here. So since these are further apart, that bar was not quite long enough. But we've got a pretty good angle on it. It goes to the other side. It's got to help some. I mean, it is still triangulated 4-link. So, I mean, with it being triangulated 4-link, it is moving some, though, I think. I don't know if it is or not, though. But, so, we just put this on. It was pretty cheap, pretty easy to do. We just welded it on, so we'll see if it helps. Okay, last thing we got to do is put the front springs on the car. We're going to change front springs real fast. All right, guys, well, that wraps it up tonight. We are done. It's back on all fours. Ride height is pretty decent. We got weight in the back. We got panhard done. We got the springs done up here on the front. We got the transmission seals done. So we're about to crank it up. Hopefully it does not leave a trail of transmission fluid all the way to the trailer. If it does, I am not going to be a happy camper. But it has happened in the past, hasn't it? But, all right, guys, will y'all comment, like, and subscribe? We will see y'all soon. Later.